Beautiful hat.
Thank you. Festive. We're recording, finally, after we've been swindled by our audio recording program so that you people have a great audio and great video experience. So you're welcome. You can Venmo me at JCMan19. Welcome to Let Me Pod to you. I'm Jacob. You can block me on Twitter at We Hate Jacob. I'm back with my co-host Demetri. You can find him on Twitter at Demetri Talks. Demetri, it's been 2 weeks. How we feeling?
There's a lot of stuff that's got me really interested in wrestling right now. Just all the returns, obviously. It's been very interesting for me.
Yes. The returns are kind of the only thing driving my interest at all right now. Everything else has been extraordinarily mid.
Yeah, there's definitely some mid out there.
But you know what? I'll drink to that. High Gear chocolate coffee porter.
Okay. I got myself a actual coffee here.
Oh, coffee two ways. Our format here is top of the mid, headlines, stock rising, stock falling. These can be specific wrestlers, storylines, whatever to kick off a conversation. Demetri, we need a double top of the mid. Who's been top of the mid for 2 straight weeks?
2 straight weeks. Dude, R-Truth is absolutely incredible. Like, I knew I missed R-Truth, right? And I knew I wanted him back. But nothing could have prepared me for how I've felt having him back on TV. He was just so like naturally entertaining and fucking hilarious. And I feel like everything he does is just great. And it's like you get him on TV for like a little 5-minute segment even. Just pop up and say whatever. Just add so much value to the show. Like when I'm watching Raw sometimes and I watch it back, you know, and you kind of like fast forward and you like fast forward through a match and you're like, oh, wait, stop. Every time R-Truth is on the screen, I'm like, oh, no. Let me see. I got to see this. It's unskippable content is the best way to put R-Truth. I will not skip any segment he's in. With that being said, his whole little beef and kind of wanting to join the Judgment Day has been gold. I love how he like refers to their little clubhouse. I love how he refers to JD as Jackie D. There was that segment like 2 weeks ago, and he's just like, Jackie D, nobody likes you. You gotta leave, JD. And that shit, like, that's literally how everybody feels. Like,
didn't he say something about his big head too?
Yes, which is again another thing that everybody points out. So it's really funny. 2 weeks ago, he also said that the clubhouse has to tighten up security, which I thought was fucking hilarious. Like, yeah, tighten that shit up, bro. Keep JD out of here. This
past week, he said, I couldn't get in the front door or the back door.
Yeah. And then again, he's mentioned it again. He was like, JD, nobody likes you. And unfortunately, they turned on his ass and left him beat up. And
are you surprised by this?
No, I wasn't surprised, but I wanted it to go longer. I hope that he still tries to like stay in, you know, and he tries to get in mommy's good graces and he just continues to try to weasel his way in. That's what I want to see.
I don't want to see it was going to happen because I mean, I feel like if he sucks up to Rhea enough, that's how he'll make it in there.
Exactly. So he's going to keep, I would love it if he just kept being goofy, sucks up to mom and he's like, yeah, no, I love you. Blah, blah, blah. We got to keep it straight. We got to do our thing. And it would just be great to see him in the Judgment Day because he's just great comedy. He just fits. I feel like he can fit anywhere on the roster. Really.
Well, I mean, eventually they're going to get to a trios match of Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Damian Priest versus Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio, and one other. It's got to be R-Truth.
Dude, that would actually be great, bro. That would be so good.
On Judgment Day, while we're there, as I don't think we're going to talk about them the rest of this podcast. They're on the rundown. No. So I think they're starting to sow those seeds of Damian and Rhea both wanting to be in charge a little bit deeper.
Absolutely.
But Damian really thinks that he's in charge, but buddy, you're not.
We all know you're not.
Sorry,
yeah, he's
it's not you. It's mommy.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know Randy is daddy, so it's not you, Damian.
Yep.
So I think they're going to start getting closer to that splinter point.
Yeah, definitely seems like it. And, while we're on Judgment Day, I didn't put this in here, but I also just wanted to give a shout out to one of my former top of the mid grads. Dom Mysterio has been just the fucking workhorse, right? Have you seen the amount of matches he's had this year? I saw it tweeted somewhere. He's top 2 or top 3 in matches for the WWE. He's 90 something, just crazy.
Well, he kind of needs it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great for him. He's actually gotten a lot better. I mean, a ton of practice, clearly. And he's had all these matches, and it's just really cool that he got to be the first person Randy RKO'd on his way back. And then he's got this house show coming up where he's going to be CM Punk's first opponent back in the WWE. That's really cool shit. And obviously it shows that they have some sort of trust in him now. Whereas before it wasn't he definitely didn't have that same trust. But at this point, he's been working his ass off the whole year.
Well, if they're using Dom to welcome people back off of long injury or, awaited return, I think that shows that where they feel about him as a worker, that he's safe worker. Randy came back from back fusion surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So his first match especially needs to be with somebody who, first of all, Randy is going to trust to help him in the ring.
Uh-huh.
And also somebody who can sell really well.
Yep.
And is a heel. I mean, it's gotta be a heel, for these returns. And that's kind of why it's traditionally, there's been the joke for the last couple of years of, oh, someone's back in WWE, better roll out the Miz.
Yep.
So
Dom's the new Miz.
He gets booed and he can sell really well. And if Dominic Mysterio has half the career of the Miz, he's going to be a Grand Slam champion at least once.
I've been thinking about this lately. Dom's first main roster title run, the first time he captures the U.S. title or the Intercontinental or something.
What do you mean? He was just the North American champ on the main roster.
The first time he captures a real main roster title, it's gonna smack. I'm gonna absolutely love that shit. And I'm sure the first time he captures that title, he's gonna talk so much shit, and he's gonna be such a annoying little heel, and it's just it's gonna be so great.
And don't forget, he's already been a tag team champion. He's already held 2 belts.
Mm-hmm.
My headline, and I've been waiting on this for 2 weeks now.
All right.
Christian has the edge on Copeland.
Thank you for that. That was beautiful.
Oh,
look at that.
Been waiting for it.
You had to get that off your chest.
Really did. I thought the Edge and Christian match at Dynamite last week was very fun. Edge was going nuts. He was being full, I'm going to kill you kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
I thought the ending was a little bit, though, because Nick Wayne's mom came out after there was a very poor referee bump. And then to kind of make up for the referee bump being weak, Christian kicked the ref in the balls, which I thought was really funny. So Nick Wayne's mom comes out, grabs the TNT title belt. She's kind of looking back and forth. Who's she going to hit? Who's she going to hit? Who's she going to hit? She hits Edge. Duh.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a week or two after Edge concertoed her son 2 times right in front of her. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Edge was going to take that belt. But they got to do a tear the house down kind of show in Canada. So I'm sure those guys really appreciated getting to do that.
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised if they run it back at World's End, AEW's last pay-per-view of the year, coming up in a week or two in Long Island. So my question is, does AEW have a Cell for Hell? Because I don't know if they've done a true cell match that has a roof on it and everything. I know that they've done steel cages and they have
I don't think
guts,
they've done a cell.
So maybe they're going to build one, and I'm just what are they going to call it?
Cell for Hell. Hell and
Carnage in a Cage.
Carnage in a Cage. There you go.
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think at this kind of point in Edge's career, I really associate him with Hell in the Cell matches. In the time that I've been back watching wrestling, the first Hell in a Cell match I watched was Edge and Seth Rollins.
Oh, wow.
So then there was Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, where Cody shouldn't have wrestled and shouldn't have been allowed to wrestle.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Oof. And then there was the WrestleMania one with Edge and Finn Balor that they stopped because Finn got a little cut on his head.
Yeah.
So I think that AEW, if they want to blow this feud off properly, they're going to have to find a way to do like a full-on steel cell, not a cage. It needs to be contained.
Cage with a roof.
Cage with a roof. Exactly. I think that's what they've got to do to find a way to blow this feud off is these guys, one-on-one, trapped in a cage. No one can interfere. No one can save Christian. No one can stop Edge. And I think that's the way that they've got to finish it. So I don't know what they're going to do, but they've got to come up with something for it.
Absolutely, yeah. That would be fucking fire. Cage with a roof. They got to trademark that. I love that.
Cage with a roof. I can just hear Excalibur now. And this week on Rampage, Cage with a roof.
Yes. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. So I'm going to take some creative liberties here and go straight to Stock Rising.
Okay.
And let's talk about Randy Orton. So this is a Randy Orton and a SmackDown combined Stock Rising.
Ooh.
Randy's staying on SmackDown. Everybody knows this by now. Yep. He's going to be hunting the bloodline. Did you see the video where after he signed his contract, or he RKO'd Jimmy, signed his contract, and Jimmy just was still laid out in the ring?
Yeah.
After it went off TV and they rolled him.
They had to roll him off.
Rolled him back in. And like Alpha Academy's music is going on because they're coming out for the like post-show main event.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
He tells Paul Heyman to tell Roman, Daddy's home. And honestly, Randy, Daddy, extremely daddy. Like he is so big.
Yo, he's big as shit. Yo, I want to know his workout routine. I'm telling you, like I've been working out. I want to look like Randy, but I don't know if it's possible.
Definitely not possible for me. I drink way too much. He also RKO'd Nick Aldis, which they paid off the following week, where he gives Aldis a check for his fine.
Oh, that was good.
And he's like, "Oh, Randy, it was only $50K. This is $100. That's for next time." And Aldis was like, "Oh fuck." So, yeah. And then we got Randy Orton tag teaming with L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, buddy.
That was interesting.
Yeah, certainly.
Like sooner rather than later, we're going to get a Randy versus L.A. Knight for the next shot at Roman. What do you think?
That would be interesting. The two huge baby faces. So I feel like everybody still loves LA Knight, but it's not the same as it was during a certain time, like a couple months ago.
I don't think
it has fizzled a little bit, and I don't think that's any fault of his. I think there's just so much going on that it's hard to like we got Roman coming back. We got CM Punk just returned. Randy Orton just returned. There's just so much shit going on that it's hard to be like, it's hard for it to be the same and hold the same value. And I don't think it's going to be like a problem because again, he elevated himself really high up. So like clearly he's being used and, you know, he's going to continue to be used with people like Randy Orton and be involved in storylines. So that's good. He'll get his time. It's just not the same.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for him because, like, if we think about a couple weeks ago before Randy was back and before CM Punk was back, WWE baby faces were pretty much, you know, number one, Cody Rhodes, right?
Yeah.
Would you call him the number one baby face?
For sure. Seth Rollins.
And then number two, it's like Seth Rollins kind of at this point too, wouldn't you say?
Yep.
Okay. And then we have kind of this level 3 babyface that's kind of a tie, I'd say, between Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and LA Knight. Kind of at this tier below Cody and Seth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have Sami, Jey, and LA Knight all kind of fighting in this second rank of babyfaces.
Mm-hmm.
And then you add Randy Orton and CM Punk, who are going to come back as babyfaces because people are going to be happy to see them.
Right.
Both of those guys are leapfrogging that entire second tier of
Absolutely.
Sami Jey and LA Knight and going straight into the Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins echelon, which we're seeing by the fact that they're pushing Cody somewhere else with Shinsuke, which we'll talk about.
Yep.
And then Seth Rollins is going straight to CM Punk, or CM Punk's going straight to Seth, I should say. And Randy's going straight to Roman. So what do we do here with the rest of these baby faces? Sami is out injured. He asked for time off, was granted. He's worked basically 12 months straight, so good for him. I think he deserves some time. Jey, he just got beat by Drew, so I think he's out of the main event picture for the moment.
Ooh, but you know how I feel about Drew, and you know how I feel about Jey. I think a prolonged rivalry between those two would smack. For me, it would.
But it's for nothing. It's just for fun.
It's just for rivalry's sakes. Not everything has to be for something.
And we'll talk about Drew because I think he's a really interesting heel right now from like what he's saying.
I'm telling you, Drew's the shit, bro.
Off TV.
Drew is the shit.
Are we talking about Drew at all? Do we have Drew anywhere?
I don't think so, but I fucking love Drew. So
all right, let's talk about Drew real quick. Yes! Because he is I give him a stock rising. I would.
Let's go.
And that's because he's being a logical heel.
What'd I tell you about Drew?
He's a heel right now, but his whole shtick is like, I don't trust Jey Uso. And why should he trust Jey Uso? Now, granted, sidebar. Jey Uso didn't cost him the title at Clash in the Castle. Jey Uso wasn't there. He wasn't in the country. That was Solo Sikoa. But Jey Uso by association, sure. And then he's got beef with CM Punk. Who doesn't? So he's like, oh, I don't want him on my show. He can go to SmackDown. Yeah. So, but I thought the Jey and Drew match was good. So they could have a small program. But so back to LA Knight now. Where does he go from here as a second-rate babyface? Second-rate, not meant disrespectfully. The U.S. title.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, exactly.
But I saw a fantasy booking from the Public Enemies podcast the other day of let's stretch this Logan Paul U.S. title run to Mania and do it as a ladder match with like Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, LA Knight, Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar. Like, let's put as many of these guys that aren't in the main event picture into this U.S. title ladder match and make it a banger.
That would certainly give some credibility to the U.S. title for whoever wins it. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's been kind of flailing for a good bit.
I do like this tournament they're doing for the U.S. title, though. How do you feel about it?
No, big agree. Tournaments definitely help because everybody's fighting for it, so it makes it seem like it at least matters. So yeah, I mean it's put on some good matches here, and I do like the idea of a tournament for the belt for sure.
Carmelo Hayes going to be on SmackDown this week. That's fun.
Oh, word! I didn't even know that.
He is the NXT superstar that's competing. He'll be wrestling Grayson Waller.
Oh, that's going to smack.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be really good. And then Kevin Owens and his broken hand. I don't remember who he has, but it's somebody's going to beat. So interesting. I like what they're doing there. But I think that's kind of where LA Knight's going to be right now, is working towards the U.S. title.
Yep.
I hope if they have him win this tournament, they don't have him lose the match, because I think he needs that final push at some point.
For sure.
I guess he could lose it if it's, Logan Paul cheats again, but can we really have Logan Paul and Roman both doing the same thing to keep their belts every pay-per-view?
On the same show as well?
On the same show?
Yeah.
Like right now, there's no belt on SmackDown because neither of those guys are there. Until tomorrow. Roman Reigns returns.
Yeah. Ooh, great. That was a fucking incredible transition. This guy knows how to podcast. Wow.
So, all the way back to Randy Orton. I'm sure we will have a little bit of talk between Randy and Roman tomorrow night on SmackDown.
I'm pretty excited for it.
I think it should be interesting. Be interesting. But yeah, that's what's going on SmackDown and the Bloodline Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
And Demetri, I'm going to kick it over to you. What is your surprise?
Oh yeah, I do have a surprise here. Let me get out my Triple H. Actually, let me take off my glasses just so I can put them on, so it looks like I'm Triple H here.
Right. You got to keep them down on your nose though, because he's always like,
put on the glasses. All right, I got this little notebook here. All right, so got some exciting stuff here going on. First of all, thank you to everybody who has been paying attention and watching. We just hit 60 subs on YouTube, which is pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
60 subs. It's very exciting. That's 40 away from 100. Look at that math. So we're getting there. Episode 31 of the podcast. So last episode, first episode on YouTube to hit over 100 views. Yeah. 131 views, 32 actually. So thank you for that. When we started this podcast, there were maybe four or five views a week. And two of them were probably me. One was probably Jacob. One was probably my wife. So yeah.
Not my wife. She doesn't support my creative endeavors.
My wife only watched a couple. So the first couple she watched. And then after that, it was like, all right, you're on your own. So
I did put it on in the car one time to see if she noticed, and she was like, "Is that you?" That's
hilarious. Is that you? Are we listening to you right now? And then last podcast I started uploading like clips of the podcast, and a clip just is about at 2,000 views from that. So that's really good too. So we're doing a little bit more numbers than we used to do. And I love that for us. And I love that for you guys. And I really appreciate anybody who's taken the time to watch. So I just wanted to say thank you, and stocks up to y'all and stocks up to us.
Hell yeah. Thank you all for the support. We do appreciate it. Demetri, thank you for those numbers.
Yeah. I did my Triple H thing right there.
You did. You did indeed. All right. I'll let you go another stock rising because we've got a couple here.
Yeah. So first thing I wanted to say is, in terms of AEW, I still fast forward through some things a good amount because I don't completely know what's going on yet. So I like fast forward here and there. I watch some things. I tune in. I tune out. But something I never tune out of is anytime Toni Storm's on the screen. Like she has absolutely got me like hooked on watching the show. Anytime she's on the show, I have to watch it.
Even whether she is a sports entertainer.
Absolutely. She's very sports entertaining. And literally, even if she's just on commentary, I have to tune in because she says some funny ass shit. Like, I have to watch it. So
did you see Dynamite last night, her commentary stuff?
Just watched it. Yep.
That is not Ruby Soho. Ruby Soho
she has green hair.
Who is this imposter? And then every time the camera cuts to her, black and white, they're leaning into the gimmick, which is great.
Yeah, it was so they cut to her and she just like I was like, yo, this is hilarious, dude. It's so good. It's a really good gimmick. Like I love it. I love every part of it. But yeah.
And then she also called Taz the Tasmaniac.
Yeah.
And Tony Schiavone was Tony Schiavone. Like it's just, these little things that she does is very good.
Yep.
On that though, Tony Storm and Riho is gonna slap. That's gonna be so good.
Riho's so tiny.
Bro, she's so small, but she hits these like Northern Lights or German suplexes, and I'm like, how are you doing this?
How, Sway?
Pretty much. Yeah, Tony Storm commentary was very fun. That was a really good time.
Yep, and then my other Stocks Rising I just wanted to mention here is I've mentioned Shinsuke before, but this character's got me hype as fuck. Okay, so I'm working with my hands right now because I'm loving it. All right, brother. So like, just he's so much more believable than he used to be, bro. I really feel like for a while he was just kind of floating on the roster, and he was just the Japanese dude with funny clothes. That's pretty much the way I saw him. I was like, oh,
he was half comedy with Rick Boogs. I mean, he had the Intercontinental title.
Never took him serious.
It was just like you'd have Rick Boogs. I'm here to rock with the Intercontinental champ, Shinsuke, and he'd hit his guitar. It's like, okay, all right. 6 minutes of the ring. Okay.
Get in, get out. I had no care in the world for Shinsuke Nakamura. And there was a time when I didn't really watch WWE, and apparently that was the time when he initially had some sort of push and people really digged it, and everybody was singing along with his theme. I missed that era. And I never understood why people were always like he was being like underutilized, or when people were saying I miss the old Shinsuke. I didn't get it, but I get it now. Like, shit's cool. And I don't know what it was like before, but this feels like it's possibly better than it was before because it's just so believable. He said some shit like he's like a legit supervillain. So he said some shit like, I'm here to unburden you, step in your shoes, take that story off your hands. I never got to finish my story, so I will finish yours. Bruh. Bars, okay? Bars. Absolute bars. He's spitting at Cody. That shit's crazy. And I missed the match. I didn't get to finish the match. Did you watch the match?
That was at the very end of Raw, Demetri. You're asking me for a lot. CM Punk was already done. Jay and Drew was already done. I was like, I'm out of here.
I watched most of the show, but I didn't get to the very end, so I'm gonna have to watch the match. I'm sure it was a good match because I actually tuned out right before it was a half an hour left in the show. So they had a half an hour to put on this match.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't watch it. My understanding from online is that Cody got spit in his face again.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I knew that happened, so yeah.
So can I throw a stock falling in here, though? Not for Shinsuke, but it is for boring creative.
Okay.
There are too many people that are just picking up Cody's, I have to finish the story.
Oh, I actually agree with this.
There's too many people. Everyone's fucking saying it. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Get your own creative.
I had an idea about this, though. I'll let you finish, but I have an idea about this.
I want to hear your idea because I think it could. I'm sure you have a good way to correct it. I think it works for Shinsuke, who is feuding with Cody, to do this. I'm going to unburden you. I'm going to take that story off your hands.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Cody has to fight for his right to continue for the WWE World title. Okay. Why the fuck does Drew McIntyre have to start talking about his story? Like, Drew, your story of being a serial loser, only winning a title in front of an empty arena? Like, I like what you're doing as a heel, but as every time he gets to that, I have to finish my story against the Bloodline. I'm like, you're on the wrong show, pal. You're on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
It's Seth Rollins or bust. Oh, wait, he already beat you without the Bloodline. No title for you, Drew. If you want something, go step to Gunther. Like, there's too many people asking to finish their stories right now, and I'm not feeling that. So that was a stock falling that I had, but it came up here.
Boiling up there. Yeah. So what I was thinking is, so it's funny you mentioned that because I was watching Raw and I just had noticed that so many people were saying the same thing, and it crossed my mind as well. But the thing that I thought potentially, like the reasoning, is because I remembered a little bit back, Cody said that at this point it's like becoming a meme, and he kind of like disliked it a little bit. The whole finishing the story thing. So I was wondering if they're trying to combat that a little bit so Cody's situation doesn't seem as much of a meme because more people are doing it.
They're making it more of a meme.
They could be making it more of a meme. That's true. Like that's what crossed my mind when I watched the show. I'm like, I wonder if they're doing this to make it like less severe on Cody, to like where like we're not only thinking of Cody when anybody mentions a story, because that's just kind of what wrestlers do. I wonder if that's what they're trying to get to, but who knows?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Last stock rising. CM Punk is exclusive to Raw, but he's hanging out at NXT for the sports entertainment.
Oh yeah, he's taking a lot of photos with.
He's like also dodging a lot of calls from his wife, if you ask me. Another photo got posted with Nikita Lyons.
Yep,
I know that AJ was on the favorites, like hanging out with all your little girlfriends at NXT, huh? Enjoying Orlando.
I haven't seen him post one picture.
Come
with the dude. Goddamn, CM Punk, you dog.
I mean, when they were kind of like, oh, I heard how Shawn Michaels, I might, talk to the new talent, see what's going on. I was like, why are they even making it like NXT's an option? And then I remembered the NXT roster, and I'm like, yeah, I might hang out there too.
Huh?
Like the same thing with Brian Pillman Jr. or Lexus King with the bad beard, whichever one you want to refer to him as. He's looking at, do I re-sign with AEW where I'm not on TV and I'm not making any progress, or do I go to NXT and wow? Probably NXT.
Probably NXT. Yeah, I'd agree.
Back to the matter at hand, though. CM Punk is exclusive to Raw.
Yep.
He's going for finishing his story as well, apparently. Mm-hmm. I think he probably has the lamest of all the stories that he's trying to finish, which is main event WrestleMania. Like, I know not a ton of people in history have gotten to main event WrestleMania, but like, you're not concerned about the belt aspect. You just want to be in the main event.
I mean, I get it. That was his whole complaint when he first left. That he
never got to main event Mania.
He should, like, I don't remember exactly what it was. There was something that happened, and like he was like a huge star, and he had thought that I listened to this like on a podcast he did forever ago, and he had thought that he should have main evented, and a lot of people had thought he should have main evented, but due to like politics and the way things are, he didn't main event, and that pissed him off. So it's probably playing off that whole real life scenario that happened.
Okay. I still think like they're doing this finishing the story thing too far when it's about main eventing Mania.
Fair enough.
He's declared himself for the Royal Rumble. So far we've got, I think, Cody Rhodes and CM Punk for the Rumble. Has anyone else declared themselves?
I feel like somebody else did, but I can't tell you off the top of my head.
Okay.
But I'm going to say this right now about the Royal Rumble. It's a fucking stacked Royal Rumble. It's going to be a stacked Royal Rumble. Like, we got so many people that like would make sense to win the Royal Rumble. So that's going to make for an exciting time.
I think it's going to be down to Punk or Cody as the last two.
Mm-hmm. That would make sense for me as well. It's just like, I don't think Randy would win. But it would be cool to see like Randy in the end with like Punk and Cody and Bobby Lashley and just all these people that are like top of their game. LA Knight. Like, in recent memory, I can't think of one where there were so many people faces. Jay, just people that people actually care about. Like, so many of them at the top that people care about that would be interesting in the Rumble. This is one of those rare instances where there's just so many options, but
I think it shows how healthy WWE is, though, in terms of there's so many combinations of WrestleMania main events that you could put together.
For sure. Yes.
And I don't remember it being like that for a long time.
Recently, it has not been that way.
I mean, you could make the case of CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Cody and Roman running it back, which is probably going to be night 2. The only thing that's a little disappointing to me at this particular point in time is kind of the women's division in WWE. It feels, both titles feel very stale to me, which I don't think is fair to the performers that have them. Like, Io Sky's title is more focused on Bayley being kicked out of Damage Control than Io Sky being the women's champion.
I think that's only temporary. I think eventually we'll get a very heated rivalry between Bayley and Io for the title.
I guess if you get to that point, I mean, I don't know if that's main event quality, but it's, you know, one of the 6 main events quality that they'll try to say. Then on the Raw side of things, it's Rhea Ripley squashing everybody that moves.
The Rhea title run, I agree with you. I like I don't have a problem with Io's yet, but Rhea's, it's just been, yeah.
What did you think of her killing Maxine Dupree?
I assumed it was going to happen, so I didn't think Maxine was going to do anything. So I mean, it, in terms of like strength and like believability, yeah, I mean that's a logical booking right there. It's
and now
just logical.
It looks like Rhea's next match is going to be with Ivy Nile. I don't understand Ivy Nile.
I don't have a feel of any sort of character from Ivy Nile yet. So we'll see. She hasn't been on TV a ton, but
I mean, all right, let's jump to stocks falling, because related to Ivy Nile, the Creed brothers, you have them as your first stock falling. So
yeah, I don't get it. There's so many people on the internet that absolutely love them and they're so excited to see them on TV. And like,
I don't get it either.
I just don't get it. Like, I think
they're good. Like, I think they're good wrestlers, but like,
there's nothing there for me. I'm not attached to them like at all emotionally. So like, if they come on the TV and they fight somebody who's like also not very relevant, I'm absolutely fast forwarding through that. Like, I have no care to see them, and there's no hate to them. They're doing their thing
for sure.
But like, I don't get it right now. I don't get it.
The Creed brothers and Ivy Nile, their whole gimmick is basically like, look at these varsity athletes. Like, wow, they could have done anything, but they're here in the WWE being really strong and they can throw people and they're brothers. And that's like their whole thing. And I'm like, okay,
all right,
sure. Like, I feel like Rhea and Ivy Nile will be more of a match, and it's kind of Judgment Day versus Creed brothers and sister. But Rhea's gonna win. She's not gonna lose the title
for sure.
Back to Rhea, the only opponent that I think realistically makes that women's title be a main event is Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch.
I was about to say that. Yeah. That would make sense.
We agree. Look at us.
Yeah.
We always agree.
Look at us.
Let's talk more tag team wrestling, Demetri. Why, I guess is my question, is KC Squared, Katana Chance and Caden Carter, or Caden Chance and Katana Carter, don't know which one's which, and what name goes with where.
Caden Carter, I believe.
Sure. I'll take your word for it. Why are they on TV every week and not the witches?
I knew it. No,
I'm so confused.
I like KC Squared.
Look, they're fine.
Yeah.
I don't need the vignette of them being at a fucking rave in the middle of the woods or whatever the fuck that was on Raw.
Yeah, that was weird.
To build their character of party girls. I'm like, and that means they should be the women's tag team champions. Why?
Right.
Like, how about the people who were actually women's tag team champions in NXT who came up to the main roster, got squashed by Ronda fucking Rousey, and now they're gone.
They've been gone for so long, bro.
And they could go.
Yeah, and we even had that little teaser about them
cursing the titles.
The curse on the titles. And then it just like went nowhere in pure like old Vince McMahon fashion. That is a Vince McMahon ass thing right there. And I don't know if it was him, but that's like the type of shit that used to happen all the time where you just drop something on the show and you're like, oh yeah, they'll like this. And then a week later, you're like, all right, what's going on with that? And then a week later, you're like, all right, what's going on with that? And then a week later, you're like, I guess it's a wrap. Like,
and
no
it's just
explanation.
Me personally, but I found the Witches to be a lot more compelling, character-wise, wrestling-wise, and just team dynamic-wise, more compelling than the KC girls.
I agree. I like the Witches more than the Viking Raiders. I like the Witches more than the Viking Raiders.
I mean, let's not put those in the same category, Demetri. It's the Viking Raiders. I just don't get what they're doing with the tag belts. Like, I thought the team up with the Australian and I have a goldfish brain at the moment. Like,
that's okay. The Australian, which Australian?
The one with the rainbow hair and
the one with the
she just came
Shining
up from NXT
Wizard.
and she was teaming with Natalia.
Oh, Shining Wizard. What is her name? The shiniest wizard. What is it? I don't know.
Anyway, that shows why they didn't win the tag belts over Piper and Chelsea Green.
Right.
But like, so the women's tag team champions don't defend their belts. They just do commentary right now.
That's pretty much what it's been.
I don't understand what they're doing with these belts.
And I mean, let's keep it real. Chelsea's great on commentary. She's hilarious, but come on, man.
But it's like, you've got to defend the belts at some point.
Yeah.
And every time Chelsea wrestles a singles match, she loses.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't make sense what they're doing here. But I guess the women's tag team championships haven't made sense since the artists formerly known as Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out with the belts. So
that's facts. And her name, Tegan Knox. There you go.
Is she Australian or is she just British?
I have no idea.
This is great podcasting.
This is incredible podcasting.
Tap, tap, tap.
We're tap, 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 tap. Yeah.
Demetri will fix it in post. Don't worry, guys.
Google. Yeah, we'll fix it in post. Ooh, Australia. Yes.
All right, I was right. See, okay, I got that much right. All right, let's keep going. Another stock falling. The MJF and Samoa Joe storyline. Don't get it. I think it's dumb. Like, it's basically MJF is under the protection of Samoa Joe so that they can fight each other at full strength at World's End. Here's the thing. MJF is hurt. And he's very hurt. He has a torn labrum. Like, he's hurt. He's hurt. Like, I don't. Can he properly work this match at the end of the month? Like, I don't know. And they're already teasing his next feud with Hangman.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't get the whole thing. It's like, do I want to see an MJF and Hangman feud? Yes. Yes, please. I would really like to see that. I think that would be very fun. I don't want you to tell me that MJF is going to win the title again so that he can feud with Hangman next year. Like, finish the story before starting a new one. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I know that they have all these plans for what they want to do with this MJF title run, and you don't want to scrap your plans right away. But, like, if he has a torn labrum and he needs to have surgery to properly fix it, and he can't properly work matches, he can't keep the belt.
Yeah, that's logical.
Okay. Because I have not seen this take. Maybe I've just missed it, but I've not seen that take anywhere else. And I'm like, am I like off my rocker on this one?
Am I crazy, bruh?
That's honestly how I feel. I'm like, why is no one talking about MJF just not being on TV? Just being knocked out backstage to avoid being in a match that he set up? I'm like, they're really like stretching the belief of this guy can wrestle right now. Because I don't think he can. And if he can't, he shouldn't have the belt.
For sure.
Like when CM Punk broke his fucking foot, they didn't like string that along for 6 weeks until he could wrestle again. They said, interim champion, Hangman Adam Page. Like,
Makes sense.
We've done it before.
Yeah.
We've done it before.
There's a precedent there. It's been set.
Now, to be fair, the interim title thing has been a fucking disaster for AEW. Every time they've done it, it's been a disaster. So I don't want them to do it again. But like, have him drop the belt. He's hurt. Him and his bro Chacho can't defend the ROH tag team titles. Like, so I've got a lot of stocks falling. I'm just realizing this.
I got one to mention, actually, involving AEW. I just thought it was really funny. I had this pointed out to me the other day. It's just hilarious that Jungle Boy was suspended still when CM Punk returned to wrestling in the WWE. That is really fucking funny. I'm sorry. I know we were Jungle Boy haters for sure when all that shit went down. And it's just kind of really wild that CM Punk got fired. Jungle Boy remains suspended. CM Punk returns to WWE, gets the pop heard around the world, and we still have not seen Jungle Boy. I don't think he's suspended anymore technically, but he's not on the show still.
He's also trademarking a bunch of babyface related things. So I think he's going to come back as Jungle Boy babyface.
Is that going to work now, though?
I would boo him.
Right.
Like he finally has something for people to actually boo him about.
Yeah.
And not his like bullshit heel stuff that didn't work. Mm-hmm. He actually has something to be booed over.
He could make this work.
Come back as a babyface.
He could absolutely make this work if they played into it and he was just like, yeah, got some trash out of here, blah blah blah. You know, because the crowd would eat that shit up. They'd be like, oh, wow, fuck this guy.
They'd start chanting CM Punk, CM Punk. And he'd go, you can't see him here. You have to see him on Mondays.
Yep.
Something like that. I don't know.
That shit would slap a little bit.
I mean,
play into it.
We almost titled an episode Fuck Jack Perry. So.
Yep. Yeah, that happened.
My final, I promise, folks, final stocks falling. Where the fuck is the Acclaimed? They got knocked out like weeks ago and they're just gone. Like, where are they? Now, I did do a quick look to see if they've been on Collision because I'm not watching Collision anymore.
My brother is no longer a collider.
I'm not. There is nothing that compels me to watch that show at the moment. Which kind of leads into another thing I wanted to talk about because we should be talking about it. We haven't talked about it. Is the AEW Continental Classic tournament thing. Mm-hmm. I think it's cool that they're doing this round robin tournament. I think the internet wrestling community is stupid because nobody understands how a non-knockout tournament works. But
we shit on really the IWC all the time.
I'm so bored of it because it's just matches. And I'm sorry, I do like AEW, but I love sports entertainment in the sense of I want there to be a reason that these people are fighting.
I big agree with that
because they're in a tournament.
Yeah, I don't like seeing like choreographed matches with zero storyline interjected in there because it's just like, why am I watching this?
Yeah, like I thought Jon Moxley and Swerve Strickland was a banger of a match, like very violent, but it's not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I feel one of the big reasons I haven't been watching Collision because like if I watch Dynamite on delay, I usually just kind of skip a little bit through the match to see what happens, but not like I'm not taking it all in like, wow, what a good thing that happened during this picture-in-picture of a match that has no stakes other than points in a tournament. Oh, and this one guy is already knocked out of the tournament because he doesn't have enough points.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. Like, I think Roosh has looked really good through it. So is Andrade, but I don't care, I guess. I don't see them actually getting any kind of proper push after this. Like, Rush is not winning the Continental Classic. He's not winning. Mm-hmm. So does him looking really good throughout but not winning it spin him to the TNT title or the international title or to anything?
That would make sense if it gave them some momentum, but I doubt it's going to happen.
Exactly, though. Like, that's like, it would, but it's not.
Yeah.
And you can already kind of see that it's going to be either like Jon Moxley, Swerve Strickland, Bryan Danielson, and Andrade at the end of this thing. Like, you can already see it. And I'm like, boring. Like, I was excited about this at the start, but then like the people that you're like, oh, they're in here to lose. They lose. And you're like, yeah, they're in here to lose. What did I think was going to happen? Like, they put proper names into this tournament as enhancement talent.
Once you get to a point in wrestling where you know the outcomes, it's like no longer fun to watch.
Yep.
There needs to be some surprise element or some story to go along.
Exactly.
With. Like, if I know somebody's going to lose, but there's also story involved, then fine. It can pass for me and I can watch it. But if there's no story and I already know what's going to happen, it's like, why am I spending the time watching this?
Exactly. I mean, it's two prime examples of that from the WWE side of things is every Roman Reigns title defense ever. I know Roman's going to win.
Yeah.
But if the story's good, I'm fine with it.
I'm still going to watch. Exactly.
I'm going to watch.
Yeah.
And then there's like the Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley story that had no real story and was just, do you want to see some meat? But Brock Lesnar only works 8-minute matches anymore. So
you want to see some meat, boy?
No, I don't want to see that. I'm good. All right. Well, positive note to end.
All right.
Anything else, Demetri?
No, I don't got nothing.
Sick. Well, we're back in the podcasting saddle. We are locked into a 1-year contract, so we're not going anywhere. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for watching on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Let Me Pod To You. You can follow Demetri at Demetri Talks. You can find me at We Hate Jacob. That's hate with an 8. You can find us on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. Button right there. Demetri's going to have to do it in post now. Please give us a review on your chosen podcast platform. We are on every major network. Have a great week, everybody.